Meet Arita, certified nice guy, world-class shy wimp, and victim of high school heartbreak, yanked right out of the dating pool for being a little too soft. But plot twist. His bland life goes nuclear when he discovers he was adopted, and his 5 sisters aren't actually related to him. Suddenly, the doors to forbidden territory swing wide open. No Alabama penalties here, folks. Up in the swankiest part of Tokyo, in a ridiculous mansion, lives a genius entrepreneur who loves family, maybe a little too much. His 7 children, united by that glorious Shiunji family name, live together, towing the thin line between wholesome and spicy. Yeah, it's that kind of anime. Our main dude Arita even seeks dating advice from his younger brother, Shiraion, hoping to upgrade his love life. But Shiraion? Not interested. Instead, he grills Arita about his current crush, only to discover Arita thinks she's cute, but not exactly clappable. Shiraion is stunned. How can the family's supposed heir be this clueless when it comes to romance? But Arita claims his disbelief in destiny makes falling in love a tall order. That's when all 5 sisters burst, Yuka, Katono, Banri, Manami, and Seiha, ready to interrogate. The girls immediately suspect the boys are scheming about girls. Uka pushes it further, announcing Arita was really just after her 3 sizes stats. That's enough to send Uka into attack dog mode, literally sicking the family dog on Arita, who gets chomped as the others laugh, calling it karma for sister creepiness. Trying to defend himself, Arita swears he's not into his sisters at all, but Seiha brings up that awkward incident with Cat Ono. He waves it off as a misunderstanding, and Banri backs him up, saying it's normal for guys to be curious about their sisters. Plot armor. Seiha warns about taboo relationships, wouldn't want any forbidden babies. Meanwhile, Manami chimes in that Arita is actually a decent guy, until he tries to thank her and gets sucker punched, thanks, Street Fighter reflexes. Confusion level, max. Before things get totally off the rails, Uka announces Katono's birthday is coming up. Shiraion says he'll be there, and Arita hesitantly promises too. Later, on the way to school, the siblings get stared at big harem jackpot energy. People gush about how lucky the boys must be to live with 5 gorgeous sisters, but Arita grumbles to Shiraion that reality is a nightmare of constant punishment and a dad who always takes the girl's side. From the outside, it's an angelic household. Inside, Arita sees nothing but devilish pranks and chaos. Sharon meanwhile mentions that the girl Arita likes is Lala, and seeing her out the window sends Arita into Shy Guy overdrive, all thanks to the trauma from his sisters. Back at home, Arita considers friend requesting Lala but chickens out. Uka barges in for school notes, as his twin, she insists, but Arita corrects her, reminding her they're just fraternal. As she copies his notes, Arita's gaze can't help but wander, Alabama warning, and Uka calls him out for staring. She brings up his crush, and after some blushing, Arita admits it's Lala. Uka, ever the pot stirrer, offers to hook him up but Arita refuses, wanting to riz girls his own way. Uka storms off, mad that he shut her out. Somewhere else, Katono is gazing at the family photo, eyes stuck on Arita a bit longer than appropriate. Fast forward to Katono's birthday. Arita gets dressed up, bumps into Uka, compliments fly, and the siblings gather for the party. Drama time. Manami lost Yuka's AirPods, and soon the girls are tossing verbal grenades about who wishes they were never siblings. Arita finally loses it, giving a heartfelt, "We're family forever" speech that actually calms the storm. Just then, Dad, Mr. Kaname, arrives with news. Plot twist, you're all adopted. Except Manami and Shiraion, who really are twins. Turns out, years ago, their late mother asked Dad to keep the secret until now, but tonight's the reveal. Everyone's shell-shocked, unsure how to process it during dinner. Afterward, the siblings try to digest the news in private. Minami's still sunny, Uka feels a bit betrayed by Dad, and Seiha argues this was actually the perfect time to share, fulfilling a promise to their mom. When the others ask the eldest, Banri, if she remembers anything about being adopted, she waves it off. What matters is the love they share now. Uplifted, the siblings try to move on, but Arita lies awake, mind racing. To clear his head, Arita heads to the bath, only to walk in on Katono. After some awkward moments and apologies, Katono asks Arita for an old tradition, washing her back. He reluctantly agrees, and Katono secretly relishes the nostalgic closeness. Elsewhere, Uka vents to Shiraion in the kitchen, feeling thrown by the sudden news, especially since Arita is not really her twin after all. Meanwhile, Shiraion is busy reassuring Uka that Arita really does care for all the siblings, big bro responsibilities and all. But while they're chatting over in the bathroom, Arata is having an entirely different sort of family bonding as Cat Ono wraps him up in a back hug that's a little more Alabama than Big Brotherly. Elsewhere, Shiraion drops a truth bomb. Since none of them are blood siblings, legally they could all marry each other.
I don't like where this is going.
Uka is mortified and declares the thought of marrying someone like Arata is enough to ruin dinner. She orders Shiraion to tell Arata to quit ogling her plots, but Shiraion just shrugs. After all, Arata's as hormonal as every other teenage guy, nothing new there. Then Uka asks Shiraion to spill the real story behind whatever awkward thing happened between Arata and Cat Ono. Shiraion hesitates, duty-bound by brotherhood, but finally confides that, yes, Cat Ono confessed her feelings to Arata even back when they thought they were siblings. Arata actually rejected her, hooray for no Alabama. But Cat Ono didn't take no for an answer, and things, well, escalated. Cue the on top of each other incident the sisters always tease him about, even though, deep down, none of them actually think Arata is a creep. With the siblings' secret out and the not really related realization settling in, everyone's wondering, how spicy could things get now? Back in the bathroom, Arata is desperately trying to shake off Cat Ono and her very not brotherly advances, telling her that, related or not, he's always going to be her protective big brother, not her boyfriend. Cat Ono pouts, insisting she's just being honest about her feelings, but Arata stands his ground, wishing her a happy birthday and making a hasty exit as Katono's wish for a little more romance fizzles out. But the drama doesn't end there. As Arata leaves, he senses someone spying on him, classic mansion move. Brushing it off, he heads to his room, only to find Seiha chilling and waiting for him. Study books in hand, questions locked and loaded. When she asks where he's been, Arata lies through his teeth about walking around. The room triggers old memories, their game of rock paper scissors for who got which room, and Arata's perpetual losing streak. But Seiha has zero interest in nostalgia. She suddenly pins Arata to the bed, climbs on top, danger zone alarm, and tells him to keep what happens a secret. He's one wrong move away from a volcanic eruption, but then realizes Seiha doesn't have any real feelings for him. Turns out, Seiha was watching the bathroom scene earlier, caught in 4K, and came to warn Arata. Katono's going to turn up the heat, and without the siblings label, nothing's stopping her. Seiha, being the pragmatic genius, just wanted to test if Arata would fold under pressure. Spoiler. He survives, barely. As she leaves, Seiha admits maybe she almost folded herself, only time will tell. The next morning, Arata drags himself out of bed, only to be blindsided by Banri and Cat Ono both rocking nurse outfits. Banri's just trying on her new uniform, and on Cat Ono, for fun, because why not stoke the fire? Arata denies finding them hot, Banri cries, demanding compliments, and they all head off to school, Shiraion in tow. On the walk, random guys drool over the family's harem potential, and Shiraion wonders how folks would react if they knew the siblings weren't actually related anymore. Arata points out that, on the surface, everything seems normal, but deep down, things are absolutely not normal anymore. For any of them. After school, things feel even more off. Then, Manami appears unexpectedly, not at practice for once. Arata praises her for her athletic skills and future Olympian status, but the conversation takes a weird turn when Manami is mobbed by her weirdo fanboys asking for toe pics and bathwater sips. Zero shame, these dudes. Turns out, Manami's fan club hit max status after a photo shoot in a men's outfit. Later, Arata invites Manami to take a rare break and hang out, but the plot thickens. Her break from practice isn't for fun, it's punishment for bombing her grades. Apparently, for all her athletic genius, Manami's the dumbest of the crew. Super Brother mode engaged, Arata offers to tutor her, and they go to a karaoke box to study. Naturally, Manami's idea of studying is to sing her heart out with terrible, self-written lyrics about being an athlete, while Arata tries to forget the academic devastation in her textbook. Still, he can't help but have fun with his goofball little sister. When they finish, Manami spots Lala, Arata's crush, with her boyfriend, sending him into awkward mode. On the way home, the siblings finally talk about the big reveal. Manami's mature about it. Since they're not actually related, it's time to track down their real parents. She also worries about Cat Ono, the youngest, coping with the change. Arata realizes that, for all her comic relief, Manami might be the best big sister anyone could have. Manami wastes no time teasing Arata, smugly telling him that since he's not actually her big brother anymore, she officially gets to treat him like her senpai. Arata practically begs her to pipe down. Last thing he wants is word spreading about their now ultra-complicated family status. But Minami shrugs it off. For her, it's the lifelong bond they've built that matters, not technicalities, and she gives him a rare, real pep talk. Just because Lala didn't get to know the real Arata, doesn't mean he isn't a great guy. Turns out, Uka spilled the beans on everything, big surprise. So Arata ends up humbled and a bit moved by his ex-sis championing him. Fast forward to home base. Minami hands Uka a peace offering, cake. Yuka's thrilled, and in classic I accept your bribe mode, hands Manami her ear pods back, and tells her to keep them, just to make sure the old fight is buried for good. Next morning, Arata's on autopilot, brushing his teeth and overthinking the awkward bathroom encounter with Kotono. When he steps into the hallway, him runs right into Kotono. They greet each other, but it's clear the tension is hanging in the air like a bad anime recap. Suddenly, Seiha drops in roasting him, poking fun about how he's still thinking about that incident. She insists on being called Saichan now. Arata reluctantly obliges, and she gives a little, not bad, of approval. Suddenly, Manami barrels onto the scene, channeling Street Fighter energy and bragging about relentlessly beating Arata in their last gaming throwdown. She calls him Senpai, which weirds Seiha out. After all, isn't senpai supposed to mean someone mature, not a lovable dum-dum like her brother? Arata's left wondering why, in his world, mornings always start messy. Cut to school. Arata spots Lala, totally freezes, and ultimately decides to do absolutely nothing. Uka swoops in to roast him, suggesting he just Professor Oaks his feelings already, but when he admits Lala's actually taken, Uka declares he's lost all his main character aura by never shooting his shot. Then, Yuka's popular squad calls her over. As Arata watches, he's amazed by how charismatic she is at school, almost like she's a different person than the house gremlin he knows. Even Yuka's friends are kind of into Arata, telling Uka they'd happily sign up to be his girlfriend, or baby mama. Uka shrugs it off, calling Arata a hopeless case, but as she tries to insult him, she accidentally starts blushing at her own compliments. When classes end, Arata overhears them planning Kotono's birthday at a sea park. He's quietly dreading whatever anime-level chaos is coming. Jump to the next day. Kotono's sea park birthday bash. Yuka and Manami instantly bum-rush the mascot for a selfie, and Manami starts lobbying for food. Banri grabs Arata to help her carry snacks, and, surprise, the others disappear, leaving them alone. Banri quickly declares, "Let's just call this a date." Arata's nervous about the food hall and the couple cosplay, but Banri clings to him, totally milking the moment. He's blushing about her squishies on his arm, and when he objects, she argues nobody here knows they're siblings. Just enjoy it. When his gaze and hands wander, Banri slyly points out she knows his type, and teases him shamelessly about her plots. Banri hypes Arata up. Shouldn't he be glad to have a baddie on his arm? Meanwhile, all the local boys shoot death glares at him, jealous of his lucky date. Banri even offers him a special melon privilege, sending his embarrassment into overdrive.
Stop it. Get some help.
After a staircase mishap, Banri gives him a hand up, calls him cute, and the pair enjoy their unexpected day out. Meanwhile, the rest of the siblings have their own adventures, but eventually Banri and Arata check in. Filled with snacks and rides, Banri admits she's hungry again, but Arata, stuffed to the brim from eating everyone's leftovers, is just glad to see Banri's genuine smile for once. Underneath her fox act, Banri cares a lot. Arata asks how she feels about the whole adoption bombshell. Banri admits she was shocked but wants to know more about her roots. When Arata says he doesn't want the sibling bond to fade, Banri's eyes actually glimmer. She gives his hair a big sis ruffle, reminiscing about always protecting him from Uka and the other girls' pranks. Banri confesses as the eldest, she's sworn to protect everyone, even if it means her own sacrifice. Arata is moved, remembering all the times Banri was the backbone of the family. But this touching sibling moment gets anime ambushed, when a little girl crashes into them with a tray of drinks. Arata leaps in to shield Banri, getting soaked, but shrugs off the mess, anything to protect his big sis, / maybe not sis. Banri's both worried and impressed, realizing just how much Arata has grown up. Before they know it, the rest of the siblings find them, and the whole, "we're a weird family but we still stick together" vibe brings the chunk to a close. The post-sea park drama picks right back up. When Arata returns soaking wet, everyone's dying to know, did Banri almost drown him in her seafood juice excitement? He gets roasted on the spot, but before he can answer, the crew's off to the next ride. Banri slyly grabs Arata's hand. "Why?" he asks. She just smiles, says she wants to, and drags him along, leaving Arata with feelings way more complicated than he'd ever admit. Night falls, and the siblings turn the bridge into a stage for silly princess roleplay. While the boys and Kotono sneak off to the bathroom, Seiha spots her chance and pulls the other sisters aside for a secret meeting. It's time to spill what really happened between Arata and Kotono. As the others gasp, Seiha assures them that, yes, Kotono made a move, plots, out and all, but Arata shot her down, choosing the big brother role over spicy mistakes. And if anyone doubts, Seiha tested it herself, literally mounting Arata to check for undesired reactions. Good news, his heart and other things stayed under control. Her message is clear, they'd better keep an eye out before things get totally Alabama. But Banri steps up as the voice of reason, revealing a private chat with Dad after the adoption bombshell. Turns out, as orphans, their background records are a black hole. Nobody knows who Banri's real parents are, much less Kotono's. The plan? Keep a low profile, watch for signs, don't panic. And off they go, fired up to score action figures at the merch stands like nothing's changed. Arata watches everyone goofing off. Despite Dad's shocking news, there's still just a bunch of regular siblings, at least for now. As fireworks explode overhead, Arata feels a rare sense of peace. Maybe even with all the chaos, their bond really will survive anything. With merch bags in hand, the girls swarm the souvenir stands. Arata suddenly spots a Lala lookalike, nearly getting jump-scared by his own nerves, until Yuka swoops by and asks him to walk with her. As they stroll, Yuka admits it's weird learning they're not twins, but Arata reassures her, "You'll always be my twin, no matter what the DNA says." Yuka giggles and reminisces about their twin telepathy games, how they always just knew what the other was thinking. Arata blushes, unprepared for her sudden affection. Then, out of nowhere, Yuka confesses, "I love you, Arata." Panic. For a split second, Arata's mind flashes back to Shien's earlier talk. "Do you see your sisters romantically now?" And he freaks out, wondering if things are crossing over into forbidden territory. Thankfully, Yuka clarifies. Her love is just platonic. She could never see him that way, even if the world ended. As Arata facepalms at her classic tundra antics, Yuka tells him not to forget her souvenir before strutting away, but her inner thoughts reveal she can't shake off jealousy over Kotono's bold confession. She wonders if her feelings aren't as platonic as she claims. The next morning, Arata's hitting the home gym and flexing like he's prepping for the next shonen tournament when Manami pops in. She says she's joining to keep him company, but spends more time watching him than lifting. Hidden under her cool exterior is pure panic. Last night, she overheard Yuka's "I love you" confession to Arata and doesn't know how to process it. Desperate to keep things normal, she jumps into some half-hearted dumbbell flies, but Arata calls out her terrible form with a smile. Trying to break the tension, Manami asks casually if anything happened with Yuka at the sea park. Arata, totally missing her meaning, just shrugs, "We fight a lot, but we're always tight." Not what Manami wanted to hear. She flees in embarrassment, leaving Arata puzzled and Manami desperate to avoid becoming their Aunt Manami anytime soon. Later, in the bathroom, Arata is lost in his own head when, blam, he runs right into Seiha, fresh out of the shower with her minimal plot armor on. As Arata scrambles to cover his eyes and keep things PG, Seiha teases him about how this whole arrangement is basically a rom-com anime now. Unlike your usual tsundere, she doesn't whack him to the moon, but she absolutely blocks the door with her clothes, forcing Arata to do laundry duty while averting his gaze. During this awkward laundry moment, Arata notices Seiha's ring, the one their late mom left behind. He comments that it finally fits. Seiha admits it's still a bit loose, but she doesn't care, anything to keep mom's memory close. Later, Arata's chilling in his room when Banri drops by for a visit. She roasts him for his unnaturally tidy room. "Remember how Dad used to yell when you left socks everywhere?" Then starts poking through his laptop for spicy secrets. Much to Arata's horror, Banri calls out the title of one of his ultra-limited edition Mia Khalifa videos. Caught red-handed, Arata can only pray the ground swallows him whole. Before things get too awkward, Banri surprises Arata with a date invite. The next day, they hit up a phone store, cause Arata's been eyeing an upgrade for a while. She's cool and confident, making the whole experience feel less like a chore and more like a break from sibling chaos. At the store, Banri teases Arata about his phone picking speed, super efficient, no fuss. Banri starts philosophizing. Picking a phone is like picking a partner, features versus looks, personality versus appearance. She bets if Arata ever ends up with an annoying lover, at least she'll be pretty enough to make the deal bearable. Meanwhile, the saleswoman slides in with a couple's deal offer. Banri jumps at the chance, pretending to be Arata's girlfriend to snag a discount, but Arata quickly shuts it down. Post-shopping, they grab ice cream and reminisce about the infamous ice cream fight at Kotono's birthday. Remember when Manami accidentally devoured Kotono's cone? Classic family chaos. Banri recalls how Cat Ono used to hide in closets, earning the nickname Closet Fairy, cute and slightly spooky. The conversation takes a supernatural turn as Banri confesses her own fear of ghosts. Sure, don't tell anyone she's still terrified of Casper lurking behind her. She quickly shuts down any teasing when Arata tries to poke fun. Banri then gets serious, asking if anything's wrong with Arata. He reassures her it's all good and promises his big sister protector status is intact. Meanwhile, in her room, Cat Ono sifts through birthday photos and can't help but linger on a picture of Arata a little longer than she probably should. Then, she receives a cheeky message from Banri showing off her date with Arata. Jealousy briefly bubbles up, but Cat Ono restrains herself and saves the image for later. Back out on the date, Banri asks Arata to keep going. Suddenly, she gets a serious message and has to dash, but not before teasing Arata about going on a real date next time. Blushing from head to toe, Banri warns him not to get any ideas as she sweeps off, leaving everyone around stunned. Because seriously, someone this stunning should be in movies, not ice cream shops. Later, Banri calls Manami, trying to pry some gossip on Arata's feelings, but Manami's still skeptical that anything's actually happened between Arata and Uka, even after the date. When Banri accidentally sends a message about Yuka's love confession to the sisters' group chat, panic ensues. She quickly deletes it, praying no one saw. But of course, Cat Ono, ever the ninja, caught the sneak peek and is now officially convinced she has a love rival.